County prosecutors today filed charges in a disc golf tournament shooting.
Yeah, 21-year-old Asmal Igal is accused of shooting a man at the tournament, leaving him fighting for his life. Fox 4's Jonathan Ketch joins us live from Kessler Park, where that shooting happened Saturday. Jonathan?
For a lot of us, disc golf is a game where we find peace and comfort in enjoying the outdoors. We go play with friends and family, sometimes it's competitive, sometimes you're just out there for the fun of it. Now imagine that just being taken away from you. This is one of the craziest disc golf stories I've ever seen. Some of you may know the story already, but for those of you who didn't hear about it, well, you're about to be shocked. The news cycle nowadays is so crazy. Every day something insane is happening out in the world, but it never has anything to do with the sport of disc golf. Well, back in May of 2022, it did. This is a story about a gunman, a disc golf tournament, and a long road of recovery. This is the story of Jake Riley and how he was shot during a disc golf tournament in Kansas City. Here we go. On May 28th in Kansas City, Missouri, the KC Flying Disc Challenge was being held. A two-day event where disc golfers would get to play at 4 different courses. Round 1 of day number 1 had been finished. We pick up the story as the players from the event moved to a different location for round number 2. Kessler Park, located in Kansas City, this is where the second round of the event was supposed to be held. This round did not last very long. In disc golf events, usually you do what is called a shotgun start. That's where all groups in the tournament go to their starting hole. For example, starting on hole 8, then you would finish your round of disc golf on hole 7. It's simple enough, helps with the pace of play, and everyone gets done at the same time. As the tournament began, groups started to throw their discs and play their round. This is where the shooting incident occurred. A random stranger charged and shot at one of these groups right as the tournament started. The gunman then ran off. Police arrived on the scene and quickly searched for the gunman. A description was given by witnesses and was used to identify a man near the initial crime scene. The police quickly chased him down to where he finally gave up and dropped his weapon. This is all coming from a report directly from the sergeant who arrested him. Asmal Igal of Kansas City was identified as the person who the police arrested. As all of this was happening, one person was being rushed to the hospital. Jake Riley, the only disc golfer to be shot, was rushed to Truman Medical Center. He went into emergency surgery where doctors found holes in his bowels and colon as well as a small fracture in his pelvis. He was put on a ventilator and was sedated until his next surgery 2 days later. As we jump into what is happening with the court case, I want to quickly note that Jake did in fact survive, and we will cover his story of recovery in just a couple minutes. But before we do that, I want to jump in with what is going on with the state versus Asmal Ali Igal, the man who is currently being charged with the shooting at the disc golf course. We get a better picture of what really happened with the shooting from witnesses' statements on the warrant requests. We have 4 witness statements, all roughly saying the same thing. No names or identities are shown on these documents, just what the witnesses have said. Before the second round began, the players noticed a man acting strange. The same said this man was following them, some said just acting really weird. As they threw their first disc golf throws on the hole and picked up their bags, the man was walking behind them. That's when he opened fire on the group of disc golfers, hitting Jake Riley in the back. Now as for the actual court case, it has been suspended, and let me tell you why. The shooting occurred on May 28, 2022. On May 31st, a rapid mental evaluation for the defendant was ordered. June 6th, the mental evaluation for defendant ordered again. Then on August 9th, another mental evaluation was ordered. The final date that we have is on October 21st, when the case was suspended for mental evaluation until another 6 months. Now these are all public records and the facts of the case, just giving an update on the situation, not going to dive in any deeper on what has occurred or what will occur in regards to the court case. For now, it's time to jump back to disc golf and the journey that Jake Riley went through after the shooting. This was just the start of a very long road to recovery for Jake. 10 days later, after 2 surgeries, Jake would be able to go home, but not for long. He would be admitted back for a really bad infection. Then he was released, but then went right back into the ER for another infection. All of this time waiting for one more major surgery, where they would be able to get rid of Jake's ostomy bag. The goal was to remove most of his colon, but leave enough to reverse his colostomy. This would also be able to remove the bullet as well as fix a couple hernias Jake had developed. Due to complications, they had to move the surgery back and back and back. Finally, on October 20th, almost 5 months after the incident, Jake would go in for his third and final surgery. The surgery went as planned. Jake did have another infection after that, but he's been recovering ever since. I talked to him on the phone a couple weeks ago, and he said at this point in time, he's right around 75% recovered. 3 surgeries, bunch of infections. It's been a really long road for Jake and his family. Now, I didn't get the chance to ask Jake what it would be like going back to playing disc golf, but I can just imagine how tough it's going to be. Regardless of what has occurred to affect your mental and physical conditions, going back to playing disc golf is going to be hard. For all of us playing the sport we love, out with our friends, just having a good time, and now that's been taken away. Maybe not forever, but for a while, it's got to be tough. But when things happen like this, it's always nice to note the good things that the communities have done for their players. The Tougher Than Chains benefit tournament was held in October that helped raise funds for Jake. Jake told me this was the last time he got to throw a disc for a while, since it happened right before his 3rd major surgery in October. At the Kansas City Wide Open, Jake got to announce players before teeing off. Here's a little clip of him announcing the fan favorite, Matty-O.
Alright, first off, we have a PDGA member since 2001.
This is how you start a tournament.
316 total events with 77 wins. An 8-time winner of Southern Nationals, number 11 on our U.S. Tour, 2nd Masters Cup, 11th in the OTB Open, 6th at Outer Wild, 5th at Ledgestone, and 7th at the DMC. He does what Nick Saban tells him to, and he's pleased by the contract extension. Roll Tide, baby, Matty-O!
Matty-O, a golfer who needs no introduction. He did get quite a long one there.
The support, the outreach from the local players and tournaments to some of the big pros out on tour. All of it helped grow awareness and funds for Jake and his family through the hard time, both physically and mentally. As I've already mentioned, Jake has been using a GoFundMe to help with the whole situation. Jake's fiancée Cosette has been running it, giving updates and pictures throughout the whole journey. Alongside her updates, you get some insight from Jake with his surgeries and recovery. Make sure to go check it out. You can go back for months and read through the whole experience that Jake went through. From surgeries to infections to hospital bills to losing his job, all of it's on there. I've given as much insight into what Jake has gone through as I can, but if you want those more personal updates coming from him and his fiancée, then you have to go check them out. Saying it's been a long road to recovery is an understatement. The link to Jake's GoFundMe is in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my channel. Plenty of other videos on there. This was one of the craziest stories in disc golf, so I thought I should do my best to cover it. It took me a while to make the video, making sure everything was all set in stone with the whole story and with Jake Riley himself. If you want to see more videos like this covering in-depth news related issues, let me know in the comments. Alright, we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.